Think you can recognize the stars of Star Trek Voyager? Let's put your memory to the test in reverse. We'll show you what they look like now, and you'll try to guess who they are before we reveal their iconic character from the Star Trek series. Keep track of how many you get right and let us know your score in the comments. Ready? Let's begin. A Vulcan of pure discipline, cold on the surface but deep beneath, wisdom, patience, and unshakable resolve. Tim Russ, also known as Commander Tuvok, turns 66 in 2025. She was not a leader. She was the voice of the hive, seductive, terrifying, and absolute. Susanna Thompson, also known as the Borg Queen, turns 89 in 2025. Sickened by a cruel disease, healed by compassion. She found love not in a body, but in the reflection of another's eyes. Susan Diol, also known as Dr. Dinara Pell, turns 76 in 2025. Steady, reliable, brave in silence. He did the dirty work no one talks about and paid the ultimate price. Simon Billig, also known as Ensign Hogan, turns 81 in 2025. The first child born on Voyager. Raised by warp engines and star charts, she brought innocence to a hardened crew. Scarlett Palmers, also known as Naomi Wildman, turns 45 in 2025. He was never meant to be more than a program, but what he became was one of the most human souls aboard. Robert Picardo, also known as the Docto, turns 68 in 2025. The rogue with a conscience. From prisoner to pilot to hero, he never stopped seeking the skies. Or a second chance. Robert Duncan, also known as Lieutenant Tom Paris, turns 86 in 2025. A man torn between duty and rebellion, between faith and strategy. He became her most trusted ally, grounded, reflective, and fiercely loyal. Robert Beltran, also known as Commander Chakotay, turns 67 in 2025. A father hardened by duty, distant, demanding, and driven by legacy. He expected greatness and forgot to see the man. Richard Hurd, also known as Admiral Owen Paris, turns 83 in 2025. A mother navigating the stars. Her quiet bravery kept her daughter and her purpose alive through impossible odds. Nancy Hauer, also known as Ensign Samantha Wildman, turns 71 in 2025. Deception in a Starfleet uniform. Her betrayal carved through the crew like a knife, but she was always 3 steps ahead. Martha Hackett, also known as Seska, turns 66 in 2025. Born Borg, raised among humans. Intelligent, curious, and brave, his struggle was not just to fit in, but to belong. Manu Intiraymi, also known as Icheb, turns 72 in 2025. Brilliant, anxious, obsessive, the man who obsessed over Voyager and became the reason they found a voice through the silence. Reginald Barclay, known as Memory Gamma, turns 69 in 2025. Always there, always silent. A background presence who became a constant proof that loyalty doesn't need a spotlight. Kurt Wetherill, also known as Ayala, turns 41 in 2025. A captain, a scientist, a symbol of strength, she bore the weight of 2 crews, 1 mission, and a galaxy that never gave her the easy way out. Kate Mulgrew, also known as Captain Catherine Janeway, turned 66 in 2025. Loyal to the core, a good man caught between ranks and rivalries. He never sought glory, only to keep the ship running. Josh Clark, also known as Lieutenant Joe Carey, turns 59 in 2025. A Starfleet hero turned haunted man. Faced with survival, he crossed lines others wouldn't and paid for every decision with his soul. John Savage, also known as Captain Rudy Ransom, turns 80 in 2025. Omnipotent, unpredictable, and endlessly fascinated by humanity. He tested their morals, mocked their limits, and taught them more than they ever realized. John Delancey, known as Q, turns 77 in 2025. Torn from the collective and forced to confront her humanity. Cold, calculated, and brilliant, she fought every day to reclaim what the Borg tried to erase. Jerry Ryan, known as 7 of 9, turns 57 in 2025. Curious, compassionate, and wise beyond her years. With only a short time to live, she made every moment count, evolving in ways no one could predict. Jennifer Lean, known as Kess, turns 51 in 2025. A quiet soul from a forgotten life, he saw the woman behind the uniform offering Janeway something rare, a chance at normalcy. Jeff Yeager, known as L.T. Jaffin, turns 64 in 2025. A legend of the stars. Calm under fire, fearless in command, he carried the legacy of exploration with grace and steel. George Takei, known as Captain Sulu, turns 88 in 2025. Bright-eyed and endlessly loyal, the youngest bridge officer who faced the unknown with heart, hope, and quiet strength, Garrett Wang, known as Ensign Harry Kim, turns 57 in 2025. The heart of the ship, a cook, a guide, a friend, bringing laughter and light to the darkest corners of the Delta Quadrant. Ethan Phillips, known as Neelix, turns 70 in 2025. A tech mogul from the past who nearly rewrote the future, ruthless, greedy, and dangerously ahead of his time. Ed Begley Jr., known as Henry Starling, turns 76 in 2025. Brilliant but anxious, awkward yet devoted, the unlikely hero who believed in Voyager when no one else would. Dwight Schultz, known as Little Barkley, turns 78 in 2025. Unstable, isolated, dangerous. A killer searching for peace within chaos, and a soul hidden behind violent eyes. Brad Dourif, known as Crewman Lon Suter, turns 75 in 2025. Proud, aggressive, and dangerously ambitious. A Kazon leader who challenged Starfleet with brute force and bitter pride. Anthony DeLongis, known as Jalkulla, turns 75 in 2025. Disciplined, precise, and quietly curious. A young Vulcan engineer navigating logic, duty, and unexpected desire. Alexander Enberg, known as Vorik, turns 54 in 2025. So, how'd you do? Drop your score in the comments and let us know who stumped you. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. More nostalgia is coming your way.